Hello there folks, and thanks for joining me once again at my tying bench. And today I'm going to tie up a dry fly once again, and this is a trude style dry fly. And it's one I got out of my book, Universal Fly Tying Guide by Dick Stewart. And it's simply called the lime trude because of the lime colored dubbing body. And this particular fly is tied in a lot of different variations. You can tie a lot of your popular dry flies in this form, the trude style. And this one's a little different with the lime colored body, so I thought I'd give this one a whirl for you this time around. So we will get the hook out of the vise, a fresh one in, and I'll get started here. And I'm tying it on a size 12, and you can tie it like from a size 8 down to a 16 if you wish. This is just a standard 94840 dry fly hook, size 12. Or 10 rather, excuse me, I meant to say 10 there, sorry about that. Going a little bigger for the video. Alright, and thread is just some black Danville 6/0. So we're going to start our thread here. We're going to leave a little room behind the eye for our hackle. So I come back about 2.5 eye lengths there or so. And we'll get our thread base down like we always do here. And I'm going to come back to just about above the barb. Come back a few more here. That's good right there. I'll snip off our waist end of thread. And the tail on this fly is some good old golden pheasant tippet here. So I'm going to sneak out about 10 or 12 fibers here for the tail. Snip them out. And the easiest way to do that is just bring your scissors in and guide them along. Pick out a bunch and then snip. That way it usually keeps the tips even for you. And I'm going to measure that up about, well, that bunch there I sort of screwed up with my fingers there. I'll get another bunch. They didn't stay straight for me. So we'll attempt that again, folks. No big deal. Okay, we'll get this bunch to work for us. Now, measure that up about the length of the hook shank, and I'll bring it back. Switch hands. Come up with a pinch loop there. And I'm going to come back 2 or 3 wraps, so it brings me to just above the barb there. And I'm going to wrap all that forward. I'm not too worried about keeping that nice and smooth because we're not using a floss body or anything, so just wrap it forward. Snug it down good. Then we'll come back to in front of our tail here. Alright, now the dubbing I'm using is, it calls for a lime body, but you can use any lime colored dubbing that you have, would do the trick, but I'm just using, I happen to have this lime green ice dub here that I'm going to use, some lime green. And this stuff requires a little bit of dubbing wax, it makes it easier. It doesn't dub as easy as some dubbings, so I'll put a little wax on here, and I'm just going to get a nice even noodle, not too thick. And we'll dub that on for the body here. Just like so. And I'll try to see if we get enough on the first crack here to do it up for us. Sometimes you do, sometimes not. No big deal. Alright. Okay, I'm going to start wrapping this guy on here. I'm going to go back and start the first wrap right in front of my tail. Then wrap forward. Just so happens it worked out good that time. It doesn't always happen that way, folks, but alrighty, so now I'm going to make a little thread base here, a little base of thread before I tie that wing in. I like to have a little bit of thread base down first before I tie my wings in. Okay, just like so. Now the wing is white calftail, and this stuff here is similar to the squirrel tail. It can be quite slippery. I have some in the stacker here. I'm just going to even it up. Okay, pull that out of the stacker, nice and even there. I'll pull out any short fibers that don't want to agree. And I'm going to measure this guy up so it's almost, the pattern calls for the wing to be almost back to the end of the tail, so we'll measure that up. And I'll bring my scissors in and trim where I want it to be. A little bit shorter, okay. Okay, now I'll present that to the top of the hook here. Now I'm going to tie this in. Remember my last video there, if you see my last video for the squirrel tail, what I like to do is bring the thread in. Instead of tying that all in one bunch, I'll just come in, bring my thread in about, probably about half of that calf tail. Come down with a pinch wrap, then come up top, come over with another pinch wrap and tie down the second bunch there. Whoops, slipped on me there, missed it, there we go. Then we'll wrap back to where we want to stop our wing. There we have it. And then come forward with some nice snug tight wraps. Wrap that excess down nice and tight. And there's our wing. It's right on top where I want it, as you can see there. And that wing is in there nice and secure that way. You won't have any problems with that wing pulling out if you tie your wings in that way, particular method. Alright, so next is our hackle, and for the hackle it calls for grizzly and brown. So I have one of each here sized up for the size 10 hook here. So I'm just going to prepare those to tie in here, folks. Just bear with me. I'll strip some of those fibers off there. And then I like to strip some off one side that's going to come down around the shank as I wrap the hackle. Just like so. Now I'm going to tie those in here. Okay. I'll get those tied in there. Nice and tight on the top here, folks. Alrighty. Now I'm going to take that excess tips and go right over the top, secure them down well. I'm going to come in and snip off the excess here, nice and close, and I want my thread to be right behind the eye. Alrighty, so there we have our hackles in, ready to wrap, so we'll proceed here to wrap those. Now I'm going to do the brown first, so I'm going to bring it down around. Okay, first wrap right in front of the wing, and we're just going to wrap forward. Okay, I'll grab my pliers here, folks. Alrighty, and we'll just wrap that forward towards the front. Yeah, there, oops, slipped on me, no big deal, that happens. So I'll just start over here. Okay, same thing again. Wrap forward. It's just a little short, this particular hackle. I'd rather I just use my fingers, but I gotta use pliers on this guy, so. Alright. Now we'll come forward. Okay. That's about where I want to be, so I'm going to come up. Tie that one off, a couple wraps behind that tip, over the top. Secure the thread tension back, release. And I'm going to lift up on that tip because I want to make a couple wraps in front of it here. And I'm going to come in and snip them out of there. Just like so, there we go. Make a couple more securing wraps there. Okay. Looks good. There's our brown. Alrighty, now we're going to grab our grizzly hackle here and do the same thing. We're going to come down around. And as I wrap this grizzly, I'm going to zigzag that hackle back and forth so it doesn't trap down too many of the brown hackle fibers. We don't want that to happen if we can help it. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my pliers once again. Okay, folks. Okay, and we're just going to wrap forward, coming down around, and we'll probably get one more wrap on them here. Then we'll come up and tie off. Same deal, a couple wraps behind. Just bring my bobbin up around, then I'll secure that nice and tight in, pull the tension back, regain my tension, then I'm going to make a couple wraps in front. And I'll release the pliers. come in and snip off that hackle tip. Just like that. There we go, folks. Okay, now I'm just going to make a few more securing wraps in there. Pull some of those hackle tips back. Form a small head on this guy here. Alrighty, now grab my whip finisher and do a 4 or 5 turn whip, and he'll be a done deal. Alrighty, just a couple more turns. Alrighty, there we go. Snug that down nice and tight there, like so. Then I'll come in and snip that off. Alright, there we go, folks. There's another size 10 lime trude. Like I was saying, you can tie this particular style in a lot of different fly variations, and they do work. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of head cement this time instead of my bone dry resin this time around, because I want it to soak in there good. Little drop of head cement right there over top of the thread wraps. Let it soak down in. There we go. Okay, there she be. Done deal. They're fun fly to tie, these trude patterns, and there's so many different variations that you can tie this guy. And this one here is a really cool one, I thought. So I definitely have a few of them in my box, and I recommend you tie a few up too and give them a whirl. See if I can get a little close up here on them here for you, folks. There we go. So, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you'd like to see more videos, like I always say, hit that good old subscribe button there, and the like button too if you wish, and any comments, put them down below. So, until next time, folks, I'm going to wish you all happy tying out there. I'll see you all again soon, and so long for now.